Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and again, good night to you, wherever you may be. And stamp collecting is fun, and we're going to have a look a little bit more at the Collect British Stamps. So I bought this Stanley Gibbons book, and it gives me a lot of stamps that I've owned and have yet to own. So I've done a little bit of another card on some of my favourite stamps, which are the Queen Elizabeth stamps from her, not all, but some of my favourites from her coronation, and dealing with things that, I do enjoy about stamps, which is the beauty of them, the design, the colour, the information, the history, the culture. With all these things, put all these things together, and it's what makes us, an interesting community and an interesting country, and something to be proud of and to protect. So I'll start with this first one here, as it's the coronation stamp, as you can see. So this was issued on the 3rd of June 1953. Well, what can I tell you about this stamp? Not much, I'm afraid, albeit it's one of four, I believe. Let's just check this with the book. One of four from the coronation, issued on the coronation. And as you can see, three of them are from the Wilding photograph. Dorothy Wilding took that photo, and this is a head-on. It was issued on the 3rd of June in 1953. Its SG number is 161, so I've got a 161 here. It is cancelled, it has been used, it's postally used. I prefer postally used. There are some, most stamps, they retain their value when they're mint. But these have no value. They've got everything has got some value. I mean, you could burn it for a bit of heat to heat up your soup. It wouldn't last long, but if you had enough of them, maybe. You get the idea. And what I do like about it is the design of it. It's got the crown, it's got the eagle, it's got the sceptre, it's got the crown, and it's got the queen, and it's a beautiful colour. Of the four, I've got two of them, and this one is one that I've decided, of all four, or of the two I've got, I like that colour, and I love the design. Okay, we'll go up to the next stamp, which we have to go forward slightly, quite a way actually. 1961 to 20th of August 1961. This is the Post Office Savings bank, if you will. They were encouraging people to save money, and I remember as a child I had a post office savings bank, and it had there was a little box that I could put threepenny bits and the likes in. I didn't get any more than threepenny bits. I didn't get sixpences, but I had a couple of threepenny bits, and I had that until I'd left home in 1973. And when I opened it, there was a threepenny bit in it. But we'll have a little look at this stamp. According to Stanley Gibbons, the 28th of Thingy, the thrift plant is to make people be thrifty, to save their money. 63, where are we? Can I find it? Let's have a look. I've found it here. There we are, thrift plant. It's the one who got 1 and 6. Darker colour in the catalogue. You see the blue, the deep blue, the royal blue, some may say. I do like the fact that it's got the blue as a background, and the queen and the plant itself. I'm sure they weren't thinking of it, but it matches the card. So well done to them for matching my card. There's also a date, 1361 to 1961. I ain't sure that there was a post office around in 1361. If there was, that's more than you can say now. There's not many around. Not many left anymore. Next we'll go, we've done that one. We'll go to this one here, which is another. You love my colours, don't you? So this is 1957. So the Scout organisation was founded in 1907, I believe, by Baden-Powell, I think. So it was scouting. He was a survivor of Mafeking and the Boer War, and he decided that he was going to train or offer training to young boys to tie knots and to be useful in the field and open doors for ladies and be adventurous. And this stamp in particular does look at the Scout badge and the rolling hitch, which is a knot, I think. There was a World Scout Jubilee in 1957. Baden-Powell died. I'm not sure when he died, but he was a household name back in the day. And this stamp was worth 2.5p, 2.5D, I should say. Never mind the P's. Never mind the P's and Q's. It's the D. So what does this have to say about it? Well, I've got a 2.5, which is the cheapest. Obviously, it's red. Yeah. Yes, a Scout badge and rolling hitch. Others are globe with a compass, so you can find your way around places without getting lost. Scouts coming to Britain, and that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's a very nice, lovely laid out stamp, and it's also what I do like is it's got the year, so I can identify it. So we move over now to 1964. And here we have Geographical Congress, which has taken place or is taking place in Gross Britannia, in Britain, in Royaume-Uni, 1964. I'm saying all these things because I'm trying to find the proper page, and I found it. So these are flats. So here we're celebrating flats near Richmond, which is near London. I bet they don't look like that now. And I bet they don't do a stamp about them now. But in those days, flats were the modern way. Everything's going to be modern, isn't it? Oh, I'm not sure. Flats are being built anymore in the high rise, especially urban development. Ah, yes. What can we tell you? Well, this stamp is a multicoloured, and it's worthless. And it's 1st of July that it came out, and the other areas were shipbuilding yards, which have basically closed now. Nuclear reactor in Dorset was interesting that those were shut. And Beddgelert, would you believe? Forestry Park, Snowdonia. I've been to Beddgelert. Nothing is forgotten, and that's the place where Gellert's grave is. Wow, that's quite interesting. I didn't know that. I have to move on because time is going on. 1961, we have to go back now to the growth of savings. So again, we're talking about the post office. I love the stamp. I love the colours. Again, the Queen is looking magnificent there in the Tudor crown, and the post office savings bank. You know what? You can't use them. My bank is no longer accepted in the post office these days. Crazy. You got a nice squirrel. You got a nice tree. What it depicts is the growth of your savings. So a bit of interest, which is another thing that is no longer exists. 7th of July 1960, General Letter, Post Office, Postboy of 1660. So there was a postboys around in 1660, which was the time of possibly Elizabeth I, possibly Henry VIII, certainly times of Chaucer and the like, so maybe Elizabeth... Ooh, Chaucer? Shakespeare I'm thinking of. 3D, lovely lilac, nice little drawing, dates, nice script, lovely stamp. Always impressed with these stamps because they are well designed, well thought out. Here we have the 6th British Empire Games celebratory stamp, and this obviously we're looking at it, I say obviously, but we've got a dragon here which is the Welsh dragon, and Her Majesty the Queen is there, resplendent. 2 colours, the purple and the white, very nice colour. One of the first, I think the first person to appear, apart from the Queen, apart from the monarch, on a stamp was this gentleman, William Shakespeare. And I'm not saying this is the stamp, I'm not saying that at all. I don't know which stamp it is. It could be, but I don't know. But this stamp is actually celebrating um, Shakespeare Festival in Britain in 1964, and it was released on his birthday, or the anniversary on of his birthday, which is 23rd of April, 1964, which is also St George's Day. That is again another reason why Shakespeare is held in great esteem in England. Um, the inventor of the modern English language, some say, and I believe them. We go down a little bit. 19th of September 1960, and again a beautiful stamp here. We have the green and the lilac or purple. Oh, I'm not quite sure, maroon. I'm not sure what colour stamp that is, but I like the colour. It's a conference for the European Postal and Telecommunications services across Europe and the like. And yeah, the green here, the green circly thing, is the emblem of the European Postal Conference. Again, I love the colours, the way they're thoughtful about these stamps, and they're very, very they're proper, you'd say in Welsh. They're like, they're designed. This is another one which is one of my favourites, not least because of the Badger, Mr. Badger. Um, and this celebrates Nature Week in the year of 1963. In fact, National Nature Week. And this stamp here is called Woodland Life. So you got the badger, but you also got a couple of birds. There are two in the set. The other one deals with fields and flowers and the like. Now, I've said in the past that I'm not keen on animals being on stamps. By that I mean dominating the stamp. I mean, there's information. I like different information, and the cleverness of the design. And I think that these Wilding featured long stamps. What are these stamps called? I don't know. I think these are someone's thought about these, and these set a standard that was followed and was followed across the world, and has eventually been, as all things, everything comes to an end, and now we end up with, I don't know, bits of paper. We end up with stickers. Next, we've got Paris Postal Service. Again, it's a nice, complicated, difficult to replicate, difficult to fraud. 1963, 7th of May, it's got the cancel there. Paris Postal Conference Centenary. So there must have been a conference. Presumably, Britain and Europe got together to ensure the smooth flow of the postal service, despite barriers and despite borders and despite wars. Those things are irrelevant. The important thing is a stamp, a letter, receiving a letter. Here we have the Botanical Congress, Edinburgh. I haven't been going back to these have I? The time is running out. Botanical Congress, Edinburgh. I wanted to include Scotland. We've seen Wales, we've got Laura, England, and also Scotland is here. And this again is a nice little stamp with the old blue flowers coming out of greenery. Queen is there. And again, it celebrates something quintessentially British. It's what would you call it? It's like British, isn't it? We've got all these things going on that our tentacles are everywhere across the globe, and we wanted to stay relevant as the modern world was coming more and more into our lives. So there's a lot of international stuff going on, but also celebrating our own culture and our involvement with the world. We've got half a minute. Can I find 1964? Yes, I can. Here is this. Again, I've talked about plants not being my favourite, but these are beautifully designed. Quality, cute, interesting. I mean, that's spring gentian, that is. Spring gentian. which I'll have to add. We've got dog rose, and we've got honeysuckle, and we've got fringed water lily. So these are not easily slip off the tongue plants, but it shows me that someone's been having a bit of a think about stuff. Before I leave this page, though, I want to show you my all-time favourite stamps, which are the Battle of Britain stamps. I do like the 1966 World Cup stamps, and I like also the Christmas stamp from 1966. But these are my less contentious stamps. I think that the design here and the subtlety and the beauty of them is there for all to see and speaks for itself. Anyway, we'll take that as read, and I'll see you soon, very next time. Goodbye from Mr. Tweezers. Goodbye, and it's goodbye from me. Happy stamping, and stamp collecting is fun.